Silence is not the absence of love, it is the presence of clarity. Imagine a serene lake at sunrise, its surface undisturbed and reflecting the sky above. To the untrained eye, it might appear lifeless, but beneath its calm exterior, life thrives. Relationships often mirror this paradox. While words and actions create ripples on the surface, silence reveals the depths, hidden truths, unspoken intentions, and the raw foundation of connection. When wielded purposefully, silence becomes the ultimate tool to reclaim your power and transform your relationships. In a world where communication is often mistaken for constant chatter, silence is a rare and misunderstood force. In relationships especially, silence is often misinterpreted as disinterest, weakness, or retreat. But what if silence is the most powerful response you could ever give? What if, instead of reacting to chaos or manipulation, you chose stillness, a calm and deliberate pause that disrupts the noise and reshapes the dynamic? Silence is not empty, it is full of answers. When a relationship feels strained, it's tempting to fill the gaps with explanations, pleas, or arguments. Yet, this only feeds the chaos, leaving both sides drowning in a sea of words. Silence, on the other hand, strips away the pretense. It forces both people to confront the reality of their connection. Are they building a bond out of love and respect? Or are they merely feeding off the noise of each other's energy? The quiet allows you to see what truly remains when the dust settles. Think of a chess game. Your partner makes a move, provocative or indifferent, expecting you to counter. But instead of reacting, you choose to pause. The silence unsettles them. It forces them to reflect on their own actions and strategy. In relationships, silence does the same. It disrupts the toxic patterns of blame and defense, creating space for introspection and clarity. Those who truly value you will lean into the stillness, seeking understanding, while those who rely on manipulation will falter in the absence of your reaction. Silence is also a mirror. When you stop speaking, stop explaining, and stop justifying, it forces your partner to confront their own behavior. They see themselves not through your words, but through the space you leave. Are they willing to meet you in that silence, or do they retreat into their own insecurities? This is where silence becomes a revelation. It exposes intentions, clarifies priorities, and shows you whether the relationship is built on a foundation strong enough to withstand the quiet. Your silence is your boundary. It speaks the words you don't need to say. Boundaries are essential in any relationship, but they don't always need to be declared aloud. Silence can communicate just as powerfully, if not more so. When you refuse to engage in unnecessary arguments, when you withhold your energy from manipulative dynamics, you're drawing a line, not in anger, but in respect for yourself. This kind of silence is not about shutting the other person out. It's about protecting your own peace. Consider the metaphor of a tree standing tall in the wind. While the branches may sway, the roots remain grounded, unshaken by the chaos around it. This is the essence of silence in a relationship. It's not about withdrawing or retreating. It's about staying rooted in your own strength. Silence says, "I will not be moved by the storm around me. I will stand firm in who I am." Yet, silence is not a weapon to harm others. It's a tool to heal yourself. It's not about punishing your partner or winning a power struggle. It's about reclaiming the energy you once spent on unnecessary conflicts and redirecting it toward growth and clarity. In the quiet, you learn to value your own peace over the need for validation. You discover that you don't need to explain your worth to someone who truly sees it. Silence is the pause that prepares you to rise. Relationships are often tested in moments of stillness. When the noise fades, what remains? True connection thrives in the quiet. It doesn't need constant affirmation or noise to prove its strength. If someone values you, they will feel your silence not as a void, but as an opportunity, a chance to bridge the gap with actions, respect, and understanding. But silence also empowers you to move forward when a relationship no longer serves you. It gives you the clarity to see whether the dynamic is helping you grow or holding you back. If someone cannot meet you in the quiet, if they fear your stillness or resist your boundaries, it might be a sign that they were only ever comfortable with the noise, not the depth. As you embrace silence, remember that it's not about absence but presence, the presence of strength, self-respect, and intentionality. In the quiet, you reclaim your power not by controlling others, but by mastering yourself. It is in this mastery that you find the clarity to nurture the relationships that matter and release those that don't. Are you ready to reclaim your power? It begins with one profound act: choosing silence. Let the world think what it will. You know the truth. Your silence is not their victory. It's your greatest strength. Affirmations are a bridge to your inner strength, reminding you of the unstoppable power you already hold within. Here is your affirmation: I reclaim my power through silence. My calm is my strength, and my silence is my weapon. Write this affirmation in the comments below and let it echo through your journey to reclaim your peace and power. If this message resonates with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are pouring our hearts into creating content that inspires and uplifts you. Your support means the world to us. Thank you for being part of this empowering journey. Number 1. Silence exposes. True intentions. Silence is not a void. It is a mirror that reveals everything hidden in the noise. Imagine standing in a dense fog, unable to see what lies ahead. The world feels uncertain, veiled in mystery. But then the fog lifts, and everything becomes clear. That's the power of silence in relationships. It strips away the fog of distractions, excuses, and manipulations, exposing what lies beneath: true intentions. When someone chooses to remain indifferent, unresponsive, or dismissive, their actions often speak louder than their words ever could. The beauty of silence is that it creates space for this truth to surface. Words can be a disguise, a curtain drawn over what someone really feels or wants. But silence is raw. It lays everything bare. It's in the quiet moments that you realize who is genuinely invested in the relationship and who was only feeding off your efforts and energy. Silence is the language of the wise. It speaks truths the tongue cannot. In relationships, we often overcompensate with words, pleading, explaining, and defending ourselves, when in reality, those who value us won't need endless explanations. Silence gives you the power to observe rather than react. It's like stepping away from a spinning carousel and watching who follows you when you stop giving chase. Those who truly care won't need your noise. They'll step into the quiet with you. Consider this: a candle and a shadow. When you hold a candle, its light shines brightly, casting away darkness. But it's only in the absence of light that shadows take form. Silence works the same way. When you remove your light, your energy, attention, and words, you see the shadows of their true character. Will they rush to reignite the flame, or will they vanish into the darkness? The answer is telling. Silence isn't just about exposing others. It's also about revealing your own strength. Choosing to say nothing when your heart screams to speak is one of the greatest acts of self-mastery. It shows that you trust the truth to reveal itself without your intervention. What is done in silence echoes louder than 1,000 words ever could. When you allow silence to do its work, you gain clarity and power, seeing clearly who values the relationship and who only values the attention you bring. Think of a tree standing still in a windless forest. From a distance it seems unaffected, unmoving, serene. But beneath the surface, its roots grow deeper and stronger, expanding into the earth. Silence in a relationship works the same way. It anchors you, allowing you to grow while revealing who is willing to stand beside you without being pulled by the wind of temporary emotion. Those who care will remain, and those who don't will drift away, their intentions as fleeting as a breeze. Sometimes silence may feel like you're giving up, but it's not surrender, it's strategy. It's allowing the other person to show you their priorities. Are they coming forward to fill the void you've left, or are they comfortable leaving you in that emptiness? Silence removes the masks and tests the bonds. Genuine love and commitment will pass this test effortlessly, while shallow connections crumble under the weight of indifference. As you reclaim your power through silence, remember that it's not about manipulation or revenge. It's about clarity, understanding, and self-respect. Silence is the ultimate teacher, the quiet companion that reveals the truth without confrontation. It's your choice to let silence speak on your behalf, to let the stillness expose what's real. The beauty of this approach is that it's never about forcing anyone to stay or leave. It's about finding who willingly stands by you when the noise fades. So the next time you feel compelled to speak, to argue, or to explain your worth, pause. Choose silence instead. Let your stillness reveal what words cannot. Trust that the truth will emerge, unfiltered and undeniable. In silence, you reclaim not just your voice, but your power, your peace, and your self-worth. My silence reveals truth. I trust it to show what words cannot. Write this affirmation in the comments and let it guide your journey to clarity and strength. If this message has resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons like this, and your support means the world to us. Together, let's rise above the noise and embrace the power of silence. Number 2. Silence reclaims your energy. Imagine a leaking vessel, water dripping out drop by drop, unnoticed at first, until one day you find it empty. This is what happens when you engage in endless arguments, chase validation, or try to fix someone unwilling to meet you halfway. Every heated word, every desperate plea, every moment spent on someone who doesn't value you drains your emotional energy, leaving you depleted and powerless. Silence is the act of sealing that vessel, stopping the leaks, and reclaiming the energy that was always meant to serve you. Silence is not the absence of answers. It is the preservation of power. In relationships, your energy is your most precious resource. It fuels your emotions, your decisions, and your sense of self-worth. When someone provokes you through manipulation, neglect, or disregard, they aren't just testing your patience. They're pulling on the strings of your energy. They want your reaction because your attention feeds their control. But when you choose silence, you cut those strings. You stop giving them the fuel they need to keep the toxic dynamic alive. Picture a roaring fire in a hearth. Every time you respond in anger, frustration, or desperation, you're adding wood to the flames. The fire grows hotter, consuming the air around you, and eventually it threatens to burn you. But silence is the act of withholding that wood. It lets the fire dwindle until all that's left is ash. Your energy isn't meant to be consumed by someone else's chaos. It's meant to nourish your peace, your growth, and your happiness. Don't waste words on those who deserve your silence. Your energy's far too valuable to be scattered on battles that aren't worth fighting. Choosing silence isn't a retreat. It's a declaration. It says, I refuse to let anyone drain the energy I need to build my life. This choice doesn't just protect you, it empowers you. In the quiet, you find space to breathe, to think, to refocus. You're no longer reacting to their games, their neglect, or their provocations. Instead, you're reclaiming every ounce of strength that was slipping away unnoticed. Think of a dam holding back a river. When you choose silence, you stop the flood of emotions, words, and reactions that once overwhelmed you. Behind that dam, the water gathers, still, powerful, and full of potential. It's not stagnant, it's building. This is your energy, collected and preserved, ready to flow into the things that truly matter: your growth, your goals, and your inner peace. The beauty of silence is that it allows you to redirect your energy inward. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to fix someone else's behavior or chasing their validation, you channel that energy into your own healing and transformation. You stop giving away your light and start shining it on yourself. And in that light, you discover a version of yourself that is stronger, calmer, and more resilient than you ever thought possible. Silence isn't submission. It's the reclamation of your power. It's you saying, my energy belongs to me. When you choose silence, the dynamic shifts. The person who once thrived on your reactions is left to confront the emptiness of their own actions. Your stillness becomes a mirror, reflecting back the futility of their attempts to control you. They can no longer rely on your emotional labor to fuel their games. Instead, they're left with the realization that their power was an illusion, and your silence revealed the truth. But the most important transformation isn't what happens to them, it's what happens to you. As you reclaim your energy, you start to see the possibilities that were hidden behind the noise. You realize that your worth was never tied to their attention or approval. You see that every ounce of energy you used to spend on them is now yours to invest in your happiness, your goals, and your peace. My silence reclaims my energy. My calm is my power. Write this affirmation in the comments below and let it guide your journey to reclaiming the strength and energy that are rightfully yours. If this message resonates with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are working tirelessly to create content that empowers and inspires you. Your support means everything to us. Together, let's rise above the noise and reclaim the lives we deserve. Number 3. Silence ends the chase. Have you ever noticed how the more you chase something, the farther it seems to slip from your grasp? It's like trying to catch a butterfly in a field. The harder you run, the faster it flutters away. But the moment you sit still, the butterfly might land softly on your shoulder. This is the paradox of chasing, especially in relationships. Silence, the ultimate act of self-control, puts an end to this exhausting pursuit. It declares, I'm no longer running, I'm standing in my worth. In the context of a relationship, the chase often feels like a game of validation. Someone pulls away, and you find yourself scrambling for their attention, their approval, their affection. But here's the truth that changes everything. Chasing feeds their ego and drains your soul. When you choose silence, you step out of the game entirely. You stop pouring your energy into someone who thrives on your pursuit, and start reclaiming it for yourself. The moment you stop chasing is the moment they realize they were never the prize. Picture this: a chess player who believes they're in control of the game. They make bold moves anticipating your desperate counterattack. But what happens when you stop playing, when you choose silence instead of reaction? They are left bewildered, staring at a board that no longer holds meaning. Your silence disrupts their power, forcing them to confront their own insecurities and intentions. You are no longer a pawn in their strategy. You are the master of your own peace. Silence is not the absence of action, it is the presence of intention. By refusing to chase, you are not giving up on love or connection. You are stepping into a space where true, mutual respect can exist. When you chase, you are saying, "Your validation completes me." But when you embrace silence, you are saying, "I am complete on my own." This shift is transformative, not only for you, but for the dynamic of the relationship. It places the focus back on your strength, your boundaries, your value. Think of a tree in a windy meadow. The wind may blow fiercely, bending the grass and scattering the leaves. But the tree stands tall, rooted deeply in the earth. It does not chase after the wind. It does not sway in desperation. It lets the wind pass, knowing its strength lies in its roots. That tree is you when you choose silence. You are no longer running after fleeting gusts of attention, but standing firmly in your power. Choosing silence to end the chase is not about punishing the other person. It's about honoring yourself. It's about understanding that the act of chasing diminishes your worth in your own eyes. Silence is your declaration that you deserve to be met where you stand, not chased down a path of endless uncertainty. You don't need to run after what is meant for you. What is truly yours will walk toward you, even in your stillness. The beautiful thing about silence is that it creates space. It gives the other person the opportunity to reflect, to miss your presence, to realize the depth of your value. But most importantly, it gives you the space to heal, to grow, and to rediscover the person you are when you're not chasing someone else's approval. In that space, you find your peace. In that peace, you reclaim your power. Imagine this: a ship lost at sea, tirelessly chasing the horizon, believing it holds salvation. But the horizon always moves, staying out of reach. Now, picture that same ship, anchored in a calm harbor, realizing it doesn't need the horizon to find its strength. It already has everything it needs within. That is the power of silence. It ends the chase, not with defeat, but with triumph. So, the next time you feel the urge to chase, remember this: you are not running after them. You are running away from yourself. Stop. Breathe. Let silence guide you back to your center. The right person will never need to be chased, and the wrong person will never stay, no matter how hard you try. You are not a beggar of love. You are the sovereign of your soul. When you stop chasing, you invite what is truly meant for you to enter your life, without resistance, without games, without exhaustion. Silence is your crown, and stillness is your power. Affirm this truth: I no longer chase. I choose silence, peace, and my worth. Write this in the comments below and let it anchor your journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If this message resonates with your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are pouring our passion into creating life-changing lessons for you, and your support means the world. Together, let's rise in silence and reclaim our power. Number 4. Silence breaks the cycle of toxic communication. Sometimes the loudest response is no response at all. Imagine two mirrors facing each other, endlessly reflecting the same chaotic image back and forth. That's what toxic communication looks like, a cycle of hurt, blame, and defensiveness that perpetuates itself, leaving both sides exhausted and lost. Now picture breaking that mirror with a single deliberate act: silence. This is the power of choosing stillness over reacting, of reclaiming peace in the midst of turmoil. Toxic communication thrives on engagement. Every angry word, defensive comeback, or heated explanation feeds its fire, pulling you deeper into the spiral. When you respond with silence, you disrupt the pattern. You introduce something unexpected: a pause. This pause isn't weakness, it's strength. It's a declaration that you refuse to be a pawn in the game of endless conflict. As the Stoics teach, control begins with controlling yourself, and silence is the ultimate form of self-mastery. Silence is not the absence of communication, it's the presence of clarity. Picture a stormy sea, waves crashing violently against each other. Every shout, every accusation is another wave adding to the chaos. But when the storm settles, the sea calms, revealing the horizon and the depth beneath. Silence is that calm. It allows the truth to emerge, unclouded by emotional turbulence. In relationships, this stillness gives you and the other person a chance to step back, reflect, and see the situation for what it truly is. Think of a tug of war, two people pulling with all their might, the rope straining, the tension growing with every second. What happens if one person simply lets go? The game ends, the tension disappears. That's the power of silence in breaking toxic cycles. By refusing to pull, you remove yourself from the struggle entirely. The energy that once fueled the conflict dissipates, leaving space for something healthier to grow. Silence doesn't mean you're ignoring the problem or avoiding responsibility. Instead, it's about choosing a different way to respond. When words become weapons in a relationship, silence becomes your shield. It says, "I won't fight fire with fire. I won't let anger define this moment." This choice to step away from the noise isn't about defeat. It's about choosing a higher ground, a space where healing and understanding can begin. True strength lies in the restraint to remain silent when words would only add fuel to the fire. Consider a smoldering flame. Every word thrown in anger is like adding kindling to the fire, making it grow hotter and more dangerous. Silence, on the other hand, is like depriving the flame of oxygen. Over time, it burns out, unable to sustain itself. This isn't about letting the other person win. It's about preserving your energy and creating a space where resolution, rather than escalation, can occur. Silence also creates a mirror for reflection. When you stop engaging, it forces the other person to confront their own words and actions. In the absence of your responses, they're left to face the reality of their behavior. This self-reflection can be the first step toward breaking the cycle of toxicity. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in a relationship is to let your silence speak louder than words. By breaking the cycle of toxic communication, you reclaim control, not over the other person, but over yourself. You show that you value your peace more than winning an argument. You prove that your worth isn't tied to how loudly you can defend yourself, but how calmly you can walk away from unnecessary conflict. Silence is not submission, it's strategy. It's the choice to prioritize growth, understanding, and respect over chaos. As you embrace the power of silence, remember that it's not about suppressing your voice. It's about using it wisely. There will be a time to speak, but that time will come from a place of clarity and strength, not anger or frustration. Until then, silence becomes your weapon, your boundary, and your gift to yourself. End this reflection with a reminder of your power. I break the cycle of toxicity through silence and reclaim my peace. Write this affirmation in the comments below and let it serve as your guide in navigating difficult moments with strength and grace. If this message has inspired you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are dedicated to creating content that empowers and uplifts, and your support helps us continue delivering life-changing lessons. Together, let's rise above the noise and reclaim our power through silence. Number 5. Silence reinforces self-worth. Have you ever realized how loud the absence of noise can be? In the quiet moments, where distractions fade and the echoes of your own thoughts remain, a profound truth emerges. Your worth was never tied to their words or actions. It was within you all along. Silence is often seen as empty, as though it lacks value. But in reality, silence is where you rediscover your worth. When someone mistreats you, disrespects you, or ignores you, the natural instinct is to react, to defend yourself, or to seek their validation. But Stoicism teaches us a different way: to stand still, to resist the urge to explain or chase, and to let silence do the talking. Silence is the ultimate protest against anyone who dares to diminish your value. By refusing to engage, you send a powerful message, not just to them, but to yourself. I am enough as I am, and I do not need your approval to confirm it. Picture a diamond buried deep in the earth. It doesn't shine for attention, nor does it cry out for recognition. Yet it is undeniably valuable, its worth inherent, unchanging, no matter who sees it. You are the diamond. Whether others notice your brilliance or not is irrelevant. Your silence affirms this truth. Each moment you refuse to beg for validation, you polish your own shine, reinforcing the fact that your value is unshakable. Silence is not a void. It is a choice. When someone tries to pull you into their chaos, whether through manipulation, arguments, or indifference, your silence says, "I will not diminish myself to fit into your games." This choice is an act of self-love. It's declaring to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that your peace is more important than their opinion. Think of a tree standing tall in a bustling city. Cars honk, people shout, and chaos surrounds it. But the tree remains unmoved. Its roots run deep, drawing strength from the earth, unaffected by the noise around it. Your silence is like those roots, anchoring you to the truth of your worth. You do not need to sway or respond to every gust of wind or shout of criticism. Your silence is your strength, your refusal to let external noise dictate your internal peace. When you choose silence, you reclaim the energy you would have wasted explaining, justifying, or arguing. That energy can now be redirected inward, to heal, to grow, and to build a life that reflects your worth. This is where transformation begins. In the quiet, you start to see clearly, to feel the weight of your own value, and to understand that you were never as small as their actions tried to make you feel. Silence isn't just a reaction, it's a revolution. It's choosing yourself in a world that often demands you to prove your worth to others. It's saying, "I am more than how you treat me, and I will not let your indifference define me." Each time you choose silence, you strengthen your foundation, reinforcing that your worth is not up for negotiation. As you move forward, remember this: silence is not the absence of power, it is its most profound expression. In every quiet moment, you are not retreating, you are reclaiming. You are not weak, you are wise. Your silence is a crown, and when you wear it with pride, the world will see what you already know. Your worth was never theirs to question. My silence is my affirmation of self-worth. Write this in the comments and let it guide your journey to reclaim your peace and power. If this message resonates with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are working tirelessly to create lessons that inspire and empower. Your support means the world to us and fuels this mission. Together, let's rise stronger. Number 6. Silence commands respect. Have you ever noticed how the loudest person in the room often commands the least authority? In contrast, the one who observes quietly, unshaken by the chaos around them, is the one who holds true power. Silence isn't just the absence of words, it's the presence of strength. It's a force that can demand respect without uttering a single syllable. In relationships, where emotions run deep and conflicts can spiral, silence becomes a masterful tool to reclaim your power and command the respect you deserve. Silence is a true friend who never betrays, wrote Confucius. In moments of disagreement or disrespect, speaking less often says more. When you choose not to engage in heated arguments or react to provocation, your silence sends a message louder than any words ever could. I am in control of myself, and I will not be diminished by your actions. This choice shifts the balance of power. It's not about revenge or manipulation. It's about demonstrating that your peace is untouchable and your boundaries are unshakable. Think of a lion resting in the savannah, watching over its domain with serene confidence. It doesn't roar needlessly or chase after every disturbance. Its silence isn't weakness. It's a testament to its dominance. The lion knows it has nothing to prove, and this quiet self-assurance commands the respect of every creature in its presence. In your relationships, you can embody this same quiet strength. When you refuse to be dragged into unnecessary conflicts, when you respond to disrespect with calm detachment, you elevate yourself to a position of power. You become the lion in your own domain. Silence is not about ignoring problems or withdrawing from the world. It's about recalibrating how you approach challenges. When a partner takes your efforts for granted or crosses your boundaries, silence becomes a way to signal that you will not tolerate disrespect. It forces the other person to pause and reflect. Your silence creates a space where their actions echo louder than ever before, and in that echo, they are confronted with the truth of their behavior. Respect is earned, not demanded, goes the saying, but silence is a way to earn it without asking for it. Imagine a chessboard mid-game. A skilled player doesn't rush their moves. They take their time, observing the board, thinking several steps ahead. Their silence isn't hesitation, it's strategy. Similarly, your silence in a relationship isn't a withdrawal, it's a deliberate act of strength. By refusing to react impulsively, you show that you value your energy and your peace more than proving a point or winning an argument. Relationships thrive on mutual respect, and silence is a powerful way to restore balance when respect falters. When you stop engaging in the chaos and hold your ground, it forces the other person to reevaluate their actions. They begin to understand that you are not someone who can be controlled by their moods, words, or games. They start to see the depth of your character, the quiet strength that refuses to be shaken. Your silence is your sanctuary, a place where your self-worth is nurtured and your peace is protected. It commands respect because it shows that you don't need external validation to define your value. It demonstrates that your happiness isn't dependent on someone else's behavior. In a world full of noise, your silence becomes a symphony of self-respect. So, The next time you're tempted to respond to disrespect with anger or explain yourself to someone who isn't listening, remember this: silence speaks volumes. It's not about ignoring the problem, but showing that you're strong enough to rise above it. When you hold your silence, you don't just reclaim your power. You teach others to treat you with the respect you've always deserved. My silence commands respect. Write this in the comments below and let it be a declaration of your strength. If this message has inspired you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons like this, and your support means everything to us. Together, let's rise stronger, one moment of silence at a time. Number 7. Silence shifts the power dynamic. Silence is not the void they think it is. It is the stage where your true strength takes center. Imagine a tug of war where both sides are pulling with all their might. The tension is fierce, the struggle intense, until one side simply lets go. The opponent, expecting resistance, stumbles, falls, and loses their balance entirely. That's the shift in power that silence creates. When you stop pulling, stop reacting, stop engaging in their games, you disrupt their control, leaving them face to face with their own actions and weaknesses. In relationships, silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. It's choosing to rise above petty arguments, manipulative tactics, or emotional chaos. Mastering silence is mastering yourself, and in mastering yourself, you shift the entire dynamic of any relationship. When you withdraw from the noise, you reclaim the energy that others once used to manipulate or dominate you. Suddenly, the balance shifts, and you're no longer playing by their rules. You're creating your own. Picture the stillness of a chess master, patiently waiting while their opponent frantically moves pieces across the board. Every move seems bold, aggressive, calculated, but the master sits quietly, biding time, studying the board. And then, with one deliberate move, the game changes completely. This is the power of silence. It isn't passive, it's intentional. By refusing to react, you gain clarity, control, and the ability to strike at the right moment, not for revenge, but for resolution. Silence also forces reflection. When someone thrives on your reactions, whether through conflict, manipulation, or neglect, your quietness leaves a void. In that void, they are forced to confront their own behavior. Without your energy fueling the dynamic, they are left questioning their own actions, motivations, and, most importantly, their loss of control. Let silence remind you of your own worth. You don't need noise to prove your power. You don't need words to defend your value. Your silence is your strength, your declaration that you will not play a role in their drama. My silence reclaims my power and shifts the balance. Write this affirmation in the comments below to declare your strength and inspire others to do the same. If this message resonates with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support fuels us to create life-changing lessons, and together we rise stronger. Number 8. Silence gives you time to reflect and heal. Have you ever noticed how silence feels heavier in the aftermath of chaos? It's not emptiness, it's the fullness of a moment finally giving you space to breathe. Silence, often mistaken for nothingness, is where the real work begins. It's in the quiet that you hear the whispers of your heart, the truths you've been too distracted to confront. Silence isn't just stillness, it's the soil where healing takes root and growth begins. Healing begins in the space where noise ends. When life or relationships hurt you, the instinct is to fight, explain, or argue, to fill the void with sound. But the most profound healing doesn't come from shouting your pain. It comes from sitting with it, understanding it, and allowing silence to guide you toward clarity. Like a forest regenerating after a wildfire, your silence becomes the fertile ground for reflection and renewal. Imagine a snow globe. When shaken, it's chaotic and unclear, the flurry of movement obscuring everything inside. But set it down, let it be still, and clarity returns as the snow settles. Silence does this for your mind and heart. When you step away from the noise of conflict, rejection, or misunderstanding, you create the stillness necessary for your thoughts and emotions to settle. In this quiet, you begin to see what truly matters and what doesn't deserve another moment of your energy. Within the quiet lies the map to your peace. Silence allows you to ask the hard questions. What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What lessons can I take from this experience? What do I need to release to move forward? It's not about retreating, it's about recalibrating, finding strength in reflection, and making decisions from a place of wisdom rather than reaction. In the end, silence isn't about them, it's about you. It's the gift you give yourself to heal, grow, and rise. It's the act of reclaiming